are at the top of the hour. Look forward to a great conversation. We're going to let all of our folks come in. We'll get started here in a few moments. When you get in, please type in the chat box where you are from. Would love to hear where everyone is from today. So please type into the chat box. We got all kinds of people joining us. Look forward to it. I love to see that. We got South Carolina. I love it. Thank you. Keep them coming in. We're going to share with you a wonderful number of things today to help you jumpstart your 2022. I'm looking forward to this. We can unlock your company and your personal potential. So we're going to give everybody just another minute or so to get logged in. We've got Nigeria. Love to see that. Excellent. Keep them coming. We'll let a few more come and log in. Very good. Another one from Nigeria. Thank you. You know, a couple things as we get logged in here, I want to make sure that everybody knows what to expect from today. And I'm really excited to share with you some different thoughts on how to think, how to act differently, and to be more focused. And that's what we're going to talk about in unlocking your company potential today. So again, keep logging in, keep typing in where you're from. We've got a great crowd from Lagos, Nigeria. So Sade, great work on you. Love to see that. We'll get a few more here to log in and then we'll get started. So again, you know, we're here to help you kickstart your 2022 and make sure you're reaching your potential. None of us have reached our potential yet, and that's what we're here to help you do. So we'll give just another few more seconds. So thank you again, everyone, for joining us, and type in where you're from if you have not yet. So look forward to a great conversation today. Couple more seconds. Love it. We got a few more coming in. Very good. All right. Well, let's get started. You know, I want to start with this statement that the world and every business has gone through some unprecedented times in the last 18 to 24 months. You know, everyone's business has a ton of uncertainty. The great resignation is occurring. People are jumping ship and going to new places. You know, and I truly believe this, that leadership and management are needed more than ever today. We as executives have to think differently. We have to teach our teams to think differently, and we have to challenge ourselves to new perspectives and new actions to succeed. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing here today. Well, I want to welcome everyone again. My name is Monty Wyatt. I'm CEO of Adding Zeros. And we are a global executive development firm, and we help CEOs and their executive teams bring clarity to their thinking, their implementation, and their organizational alignment. And you're going to see some of those things today and how we do that. You know, the title of our talk and webinar today is Unlock Your Potential for 2022. Hey, we're still in the first couple weeks of the year. We're 17 days in. And we have all kinds of opportunity, probably more opportunity than ever before, to just have a bang up year. And I truly believe this, that we choose our success. And that's what we're here to do. We're going to help you ensure that you and your organization are ready for that success. So there are 4 topics that we're going to talk about today. We are going to talk through a definition of a successful business. And this is a definition that I've been using all around the world, and it's getting a great response. And I love how we focus differently on this new definition. We're going to talk about the difference between leadership and management and how both of them are needed greatly today. We're going to talk about how just planning isn't enough. We've got to implement, we've got to execute. So we're going to talk through that. And then lastly, you know, I'm very serious and committed to helping 1 million executives around the world. We're going to talk about what opportunities you can take and your team can take to put these items into place. So that's what we're going to go through here today. Before I go any further, I really want to share just a brief history of myself. And I like to introduce myself sharing my two passions. And my first passion is my family. So I have to introduce my three daughters. I just love them greatly. On the left is Allison. She is a freshman at Iowa State University. Katie is in the middle. She is a junior at Iowa State. And on the right is my youngest daughter, Janie. She's a sophomore in high school. They are incredible. They're very intelligent. They have their uniquenesses, and they are so much fun to be around. I start with that as my passion because I spent 14 years in the agricultural chemical world. And in that time, I spent a majority of my efforts traveling. I was in sales training, sales management, marketing management, and I had to travel. And I did miss some of those when they were younger. So today I'm making up for it. But in every one of those roles, in those 14 years, my whole objective was to help others succeed, think differently, act differently, come up with new solutions to their day-to-day challenges, and think bigger picture, what the impact is. For the last 17 years, I've been helping CEOs and executive teams around the world to think differently, to think strategically, plan for execution, and make sure we have the discipline to do that. That's exactly why I'm here today, is to help each of you think differently. And that's exactly where we're going to start. So welcome. Thank you for joining us. I want to challenge us first, and I want everybody to type into the chat box a couple words that you would use to define a successful business. Type in a couple words that you would use that would define a great business. Sustainable, I love that. Thank you. Let's keep a few more coming. What words would you use to define a successful business? Profitable, I like that. Best place to work, absolutely. Let's get a couple more. Excellent. I love those items, and I think thriving, absolutely. Repeat great customer business, and you get experience and referrals. So thank you for sharing those. Keep them coming. I want to introduce to you the definition that I use, and I want you to capture this because I want you to think about your organization. I love those. Passionate for customer. We deliver value, profitability. So here's what I want to share with you. A great business is one that's achieving optimal success by being, here's the great 5 words: sustainable, predictable, stable, consistent, and it has an emotional connection. Here's what I mean. Sustainable means that the business should outlast us. The decisions and actions that we're taking today shouldn't be just for today. They should be outlasting us long after we're in the organization. That's a sustainable business. Predictable. Predictable means we know when we do certain steps, we get certain results. We have to know whether it's our sales and marketing or our customer interactions or our internal actions. The business is predictable. The third word, stable. Stability today is huge. It's all about our people. Stability with our people is high retention, high engagement. People are excited to be there. That creates a stable business. The next word, consistent. Internal and external. No matter who we interact with, we should know what to expect. If we go to a restaurant that has multiple locations, we should be treated the same way, no matter which location that we go to. Internally, it should be consistent. People should know between departments how they should interact and what to expect. The last phrase, it has an emotional connection. When I think of an emotional connection, it's about people loving who we are, why we do what we do, and what we're trying to accomplish. When we do these 5 things, the profits, the revenues, the margins will be there. So a great business is one that's sustainable, predictable, stable, consistent, and has an emotional connection. That's the definition of a great business that I want to challenge every one of you to think about. Now, I want to add one more thing. Another item in a great business is that it adds zeros. And again, it's not just about revenue and profit. We're improving our engagement all the time. We're improving our customer retention all the time. We're improving our client acquisition. Adding zeros is about adding value in every area of the business and our customers and our team. So that's another way I want to challenge everyone to do that. So that's the foundation of our conversation here, is to achieve this definition. So I mentioned when I started that I do believe that leadership and management are needed more than ever before. I want to define the two of them because I believe the world has done a disservice in the last 10, 20 years of combining these two words. Leadership creates passion and focus. Management creates competence and productivity. There's so many managers in the world today that are afraid to truly be a manager because they're wanting to be the leader, and I don't want to hold people accountable, so there is no management. Or there's poor management that we aren't following through, or that we need to be a manager, but there is good management. Leadership is about how we interact and cast a focus, because leadership brings a positive emotion. Management is responsible for ensuring that our team is competent in how they do things, but that they're also productive in how they do things. Management creates or brings logic and results. We have to know our numbers. We have to have the activity. We have to get the results. We need both leadership and management today. As I started off, the world has gone through so many changes in the last 18 months or so. We need leadership to be casting that vision, casting that focus of where we need to go. But management, we have to be following through. There are businesses thriving today because they have done these things. All right, here's my challenge for you in the chat box. I want you to give yourself a rating for both leadership and management, 0 to 10. 10, you couldn't get any better. 0, not so much. So put an L in a number and an M in a number. How would you rate yourself on your leadership and your management based on the definitions that I just gave to you? All right, I see you love it. We got an 8 for leadership. We got another 8. I like that. A couple of 7s, very good. Don't know how to lie, 10s, very good. You know, I love to see, this is a challenge. You need to reflect and look at, how am I ensuring that my team is competent? Can they do the job without me? Are they productive? We've got some 8s, we've got some 6s, we've got some 7s. So thank you, everyone, for completing that exercise, because I really think everyone needs to increase their leadership. And leadership is not about position. Leadership is about our actions. How are we influencing others through passion and focus? We need to create our routines for both leadership and management. All right. So here's where I want to head as we think about 2022. And I want to pose something pretty provocative, I think, today. You know, every one of us, beginning of the year, a lot of our companies do strategic planning. I want to put it this way, that strategic planning no longer works. Yes, I want to say that again. The 2-day retreat, all the flip charts on the wall, strategic planning no longer works. And I want to show you why that is. We create this big strategy, this big strategic plan, but our implementation, our execution has a gap. And every one of us are leaving money on the table. We have to decrease that gap. It's not that we have a bad strategy, and it could be in some cases, but we need to execute more clearly. I want to teach you a new concept that will help you actually bring that gap closer and help you get the results that you want to get. The concept is strategic thinking and execution planning. Excuse me. So when I say strategic thinking, it is about seeing the big picture. It is about seeing what are the opportunities we should be taking advantage of. We need to think big picture. Now, one of my beliefs is that us as executives, and in fact, every employee, is paid to think. It's not just about thinking of what's right in front of us. We have to think, what's the impact of me doing this action or me going left versus right? We have to do strategic thinking, and we also have to plan for execution or implementation. I want to talk a little bit more about each of those, and I want to start with strategic thinking. Now, one of our responsibilities as executives is to teach others how to think. We teach others how to think by asking deeper questions. This is called critical thinking. If we are the only one in the company that is thinking, and our team is just the doers, everything lies on our shoulders. Everything has to come through us. We have to teach our team how to think critically, how to think longer term based on their actions and what impact will it make. We have to be proactive in anticipating what's going to go on in the marketplace, what's going to go on with our customers, what's going to go on in our organization. That is teaching others to think. The last part that I want to share on strategic thinking is we have to help create clarity in our direction so everyone in our organization is aligned. Again, going back to that definition, we want to be long-term sustainable and predictable. So we have to know, how is everything connected? That is strategic thinking. We've got to eliminate the silos. We've got to work together. So strategic thinking is long-term. It's anticipating. It's understanding the options that we have moving forward. I want to go to that second piece. Execution planning is all about discipline. Now, we've got to identify the bottlenecks. We've got to identify the decisions that need to be made, the timelines that need to happen, and we have to all create that momentum of when and how things are getting done. That's execution. To be honest, execution planning is more important than that strategic plan. So we have to think strategically, and we have to have the discipline to truly implement. It is about setting the right priorities. Too many times we have the entire team, I've got these priorities, you've got those priorities, and they're truly not aligned. That's the power of discipline and execution planning. And I want us to go down the path of how do you create discipline? And this is where I say we need to make sure that you release your potential for 2022, is we have to have the discipline. So there's a lot on this information, and I want to teach it to you in a very clear fashion. There are 5 disciplines that every organization must get right to achieve that definition of a great business and to truly grow exponentially. Those 5 disciplines are the black words in each circle. So I'm going to start in the yellow circle with strategy. Strategy is the first discipline. In fact, we're going to talk a little deeper into that. And we've got to have a clear strategy that everyone understands their role in it. Business development in orange is a discipline. We have to be consistent in our marketing, our sales efforts, how we treat our customers, so we can predict the future. A discipline is how are we developing our people? How are we attracting our people? How are we training our people? We cannot let someone else do the training for us. We have to train them the way that we want them trained. So we need a discipline around our people. In the blue circle in the bottom, execution is a discipline. What are the processes that we are following? How are we managing the business? And in the green circle, the discipline is mission. Now, I'm not talking about a mission statement here. I'm talking about who we are, why we do what we do. That's the power of that exercise, of knowing our purpose, knowing our values, and that we're all living them every single day. Those are the 5 disciplines. Now, imagine this. We could be great at business development. We can bring in the clients, but maybe our execution is a little weaker. Now, think of these circles as tires on your vehicle. Yeah, there's 5 circles, but let's think of them as tires. If I've got one of them that's flat, we're not going to go any farther. So we've got to have both business development, execution strong, but maybe we're strong in people, but we're poor in strategy. They all have to move. They all have to work. That's discipline, and it takes focus and it takes time. I want to introduce one more thing on this slide that I think is a challenge today. And that challenge is, who are we satisfying? Too many times the business is satisfying a shareholder, or maybe it's satisfying the owner. I do believe that there are 5 constituents that every business has to satisfy. I'm going to start at the top. You see the word company in between strategy and business development. We do have to satisfy the company. To me, the company, again, is long-term. We have to have the right strategy to succeed. We have to have the revenue to continue to pay the bills. We have to satisfy the company. I'm going to go around to the left. Next one is customer. If we do not satisfy the customer, we don't train our people right, we don't serve them right, they will go somewhere else. The next one is the team. We have to satisfy the team, because if the team isn't satisfied, the customer certainly won't be. But today, I do believe the people that are leaving their organization is because their company wasn't satisfying them. This is our challenge. We have to address that. The next one between execution and mission is the stakeholder. We do have to satisfy the owner, the CEO, the board, the investor. The next one is our community. You know, every one of us in our companies, when we are successful, we have to make sure our communities are successful as well. How are we volunteering? How are we supporting the schools, the different events in our community, the parks? Because if we want to be there long-term, we want to help our communities be there long-term. Now, I want to ask this challenge. You know, as you look at these disciplines, I want you to imagine if your company was strong in every one of these 5, what would that organization look like? How would it behave? How would you interact with your customer? How would you interact with your team? Because these are disciplines. You look at these, you know, they are pretty natural, but there are certain disciplines we have to get right. So how many of you are excited so far about what we've learned? Give me a thumbs up in the chat box. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoy what we're talking about and what you're hearing, because I think this is a powerful statement of discipline in the new year. So if you want more insight, I'm going to talk to you about a number of ways to get more insight here in a moment, but there's a book to add to your reading list. It's called Pulling Profits Out of a Hat. It goes deeper into those 5 disciplines. I want to spend some time digging into the strategy discipline, because that is the foundation of how we get things done. We need to be clear on how are we going to win. That's what strategy is. There are 4 components of strategy that I want to introduce to you that I think will help you, again, kick off 2022 on the right foot. The first point of strategy is opportunity. I want to define that. I want you to capture this. An opportunity are the wants and needs that we are choosing to fill in the market. There's a million opportunities we can go after, but we as a company need to define what is the opportunity that we're choosing to fill so we can put our resources, our tools, our energy within that opportunity to attract them appropriately. This is part of strategy, is identifying and prioritizing what is our opportunity. The second point of strategy we need to get right is the word leverage. leverage is getting more done with less effort. But as an organization, we have to look at how are we creating leverage for our company. To give a prime example is a manufacturer. They buy that production facility, they build that machine or create that machine once, they're going to use it over and over again. That is leverage. You think about Netflix or Amazon, their technology is creating their leverage. So as an organization, to help us speed up our process, get more done with less effort, we have to identify our leverage points. And if we don't have any, we need to create them, because without leverage points, the future is going to be a challenge for us. So the first word is opportunity. What want or need in the market are we going to fill? The second point of strategy is leverage. What are the points of leverage that we can put into place to get more done with less effort or expand our business with less effort? The third word is scalability. You know, there's so many people out in the world using the word scale. We got to do this, but there is a critical point here that you have to ask yourself. Do we have the ability to duplicate or grow our sales exponentially? If you can answer that question yes, then you should be working to scale. If you answer that question with a no, this is how you need to respond. What do we need to duplicate? What do we need to put into place so we can handle the growth? How are we investing in that? Because scalability is going to a new market. It's going to a new geography. It's going to a new audience. We have to determine, how do we duplicate, or how can we handle a high growth in a short amount of time? That's scalability. Our fourth word is marketability. So I want to backtrack for a second. Opportunity is the need or the want in the market that we're going to fill. The second word is leverage. How do we get more with less to expand and maximize our customers and our production? The third word is scalability. How do we duplicate? Marketability is the ease of getting in front of our audience. It's the ease. How do we get to them? You don't have to talk to everyone. You need to be very targeted. And it's also the ease of communicating what we do. If it's hard for someone to understand what you do, you are not attracting the right audience. So I think these four words, opportunity, leverage, scalability, and marketability, are critical to your success in 2022. I'm not talking about pages. I'm not talking about a 3-ring binder. These could be sentences or a paragraph to define these areas, and then what actions are we taking? Now, I want to take this one step further. These are questions and statements that you as an executive probably need to define. You get input from your team, absolutely. We need to get clear on these areas, because I want you to have a clear strategy. I want you to have a clear strategy so specific that everyone in the company knows it, and it's in one sentence. Now, I want to give an example. Now, many of you, being all around the world, we've got different folks here. Maybe you've heard of Southwest, maybe you haven't. It's an airline that's been around since the early 70s. And since then, they started in one state, the state of Texas, and they were going from one spot to another, getting business people to their next stop. They identified their one sentence that they wanted everyone in their company to understand. In fact, it's 2 words. And the 2 words are wheels up. It is that simple, because they want every employee to understand how they impact the success of the company and what success looks like. So what that means is we win when the planes are in the air. If I'm loading the luggage onto the plane, I need to make sure that we can get the plane taken off in time so we can make money. If I'm checking in the passengers, I need to make sure that we're, again, timely and it's accurate so we can get the plane off on time. The company wins when wheels are in the air. Your strategy, your one sentence, after answering those questions, after going deep, should answer, how will we win? And every employee needs to understand that so they can take ownership. They want to understand, what do I need to do to win? Everybody wants to win, but we as executives have to help them understand that more clearly. So my next challenge to you is to define your one-sentence strategy so you can communicate it to your team, so you can make sure that everybody knows their role. Now, how do we know if our strategy is right? How do we know if we've got the discipline with our strategy? I want to give you 3 points, and I want you to answer them yes or no as I talk them through. You know you're successful and your discipline of strategy if everyone on your management team and your entire team can articulate the strategic direction and their plan that supports it. The second point, you have a great strategy of discipline or implementing the discipline of strategy when you have absolute clarity of what your priorities are, not just individually, but as an organization, so everyone is aligned. The third piece that points out success of discipline in a strategy is that we are committed to not only long-term goals, but annual goals that support the direction and the future that we're after. Again, I want you to imagine your team and what your organization looks like if you answered yes to all 3 of these questions. That's the power. That's the power of making it simple. One of the things that I truly believe in is simplicity is power. And our job as executives is to think and to help our team understand the simplicity so they know where they're at. That's how we create sustainability. That's how we create the results that we are after. So how many of you believe that your 2022 would be amazing if you had clarity of that strategy? I want you to give me a thumbs up. Give me your thumbs up if you truly believe that, because that's the power and that's how you're going to unlock your potential when you answer those questions and you have clear focus. Now, we're going to close here in just a few moments, but I want you to know there is a question and answer box. If you have questions, I want you to type them in there. I will spend some time at the end and answer all the questions that you have, because I want you to own your 2020 and unlock your potential. I introduced these 5 disciplines, but I want to add to it 5 disciplines of exponential growth. This is about how we will grow, we have to have discipline. There is a discipline difference between individual discipline and organizational discipline. Both are needed. Both are needed. We want the individual discipline so they have their focus, so they have their direction. But as an organization, we have to stay focused on these items. That's the power. So my goal is to assist those that are serious to create discipline in their organization, those that are serious of developing their executives to think strategically, to think bigger picture, to help them achieve the maximization that their company has the potential for. So I want to check the questions here. All right, great question. So I got a question. Do you have a tool to help us see where we stand objectively on these 5 areas? Absolutely. I love that you asked that question. We have a assessment, call it a 5 disciplines assessment, where there are 10 questions for each discipline. And you can do this with your entire executive team. You can do it with a department. You can do it with your whole company if you like. This is the power of those 10 questions asking you, how often do things occur? Do we have the clarity of this in each of these 5 disciplines? By going through that assessment, it helps us identify where your biggest opportunities are and where your biggest gaps are that are holding you back from growth. So if you want to take advantage of that, certainly send us a message here in the chat as well. We'll talk more about that here in a few moments. So thank you for that. We've talked a lot I know everybody's time is busy, and this is the power. We've talked about 4 topics today. Definition of a successful business. A great business is one that is sustainable, predictable, stable, consistent, and has an emotional connection. I want you to really evaluate your company on that definition. And every one of those disciplines touches that definition. We talked about the difference between leadership and management. Leadership creates passion and focus. Management creates competence and productivity. Both are needed more than ever. The third topic, planning isn't enough. I talked about we've got to do strategic thinking. We need to think strategically, and we need to plan for implementation. Go through your strategy, but talk about how we're going to act on it, how we're going to make sure that we get this accomplished. So I mentioned the 4th topic, an opportunity for each one of you to take action. And again, I want to share with you, I am here to assist you to be successful. If you are serious about taking your organization and your executive team to the next level, any one of these options will help you greatly. So the first option, just for attending today, each of you will receive 6 white papers that relate to the book, Pulling Profits Out of a Hat. So that is a great benefit. Keep your learnings going. Just for attending today, you will get those white papers. The second offering that we have for attending today is our online training course on the 5 disciplines. And I really want you to look at this as organizational development. It is going to go into those disciplines. It is 24 videos that you can go through at your pace. And until between now and January 31st, it is for $3.99. And there's a link at the bottom, and I'll share it again. But that is a power. It just went into the chat box as well. So this is an online course that you can go back and watch over and over again as you need to, that goes deep into the 5 disciplines. So that's the first offer. The second one is a 2-hour session. Now, I want to say this because, you know, there's many people that are from the United States on the call. There's many people from outside the country. I'm going to share these offers are for those within the US. If you are working with Sade, and quite a few of you are here from Nigeria, I want to make sure you talk to Sade about her offers. They may be identical to this or slightly different, but this offer right here is a 2-hour session of strategic thinking, execution, planning. And in that 2-hour session, we're going to teach you some additional insight on how to think differently, and you can plan for execution. It's how to define how you're going to win, how to identify your blind spots, how to create the culture with alignment that you're after, and how to lead people and manage processes in your organization. So if you are in the US between now and January 31st, this is a 2-hour session for $14.95. If you're in the US, a 2-hour session with your executive team. So whether there's 5 of you or there's 10 of you or there's 3 of you, $14.95 gives you a 2-hour session with our executive team. You can't beat that. That's a great, great investment right there. So I want to tell you about something I'm excited about. Come the end of April, I am doing a live event in Phoenix. And at that live event, we're going to spend 2 days digging into your business. We're going to spend 2 days talking about what is it to win. You got alignment with your team. Now, I've got a price on here that if you enroll by the end of January for 2 people, it's $24.95. Now, I want to make sure if you want to bring all of your executive team, if you want to bring 5, it's $49.95. You cannot beat that. A 2-day session for 5 people for less than $5,000. This is the exciting part of getting your team aligned. Train everyone at the same time to learn how to think. So join us in Phoenix at the end of April, but this incentive ends January 31st. So make sure that you sign up before the end of the month. So here are the links again. They're in your chat box. We can find them. We'll send them out to you as follow-up. Now, I do want to say each of you will get the recording of this. You're going to get it so you can watch it again. I want you to make sure that for 2022 to be successful, we have to have discipline. We have to have focus, and we have to think differently. We have to think strategically. So at a minimum, if you're unsure which of those options are best for you, I want you to schedule a one-on-one call. And this is a powerful thing. It's with our team that we can help determine which offer is best for you. So I want you to set an appointment today. At a minimum, every one of you should set this call to help us determine which option is best. Now, if you already know which option you want to go with, please feel free, follow the link. Let's get the process started. But if you're unclear which is best, let's get a call on the calendar. That is our objective. We want to help you make sure you maximize every opportunity you have in front of you. And again, want to remind you that if you are outside the United States, please call your local facilitator and set that appointment with them, because they are going to help you best in that geography. So again, these offers are for the United States. And if you have a local facilitator outside the country, please contact them to make sure that you get what's best for you. All right. I love this question right here. And again, I want to ensure if you have questions, please type them in the question and answer box, and we'll certainly talk through them. But my challenge to you is, are you adding zeros or are you adding zero to your organization? We have to think differently this year. We have to get our head out of the day-to-day. We have to balance that, but we've got to learn how to think critically. We've got to teach our team how to think critically. So I want to thank you for joining us today. I want to thank you for taking the last 40 minutes to really understand how you can unlock your company potential this year. So keep up the process that you're going, and you will get, again, the recording of this webinar to make sure that you can understand and see these options again. But sign up for one of those options to help your company unlock your team potential at the same time. So let me check and see what we have for other questions. So if you are excited, I hope you are, because I'm excited. If you are excited, I want to help you get the results that you are after. And if you're serious about getting the results, it's getting an extra set of eyes. And that's exactly what we're here to do. So thank you all again. Let me check our questions, see if we have any other questions. I think I got to the end of them. If you do have questions, I'll certainly be around for a few more moments. But thank you all for joining us today. We look forward to having you participate in one of our events coming up. Have a wonderful week. Thank you.